This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Only Friends podcast. We are missing my better half, Conrad Simpson. He's still out at the Borgata, the 2200 mystery bounty event. I believe event 1 has just wrapped. That was chopped 9 ways, as best I can tell. I'm looking at an article here. It says Samuel Laskowitz wins the Borgata return mystery bounty. Ryan Dodd draws the 250k bounty. Shout out to Ryan Dodd. He's a big player on WSOP, one of the regs. I'm assuming it's a Jersey reg. But the man with all the swag who came in as the chip leader with 50 left, Francis Anderson, local from Las Vegas, was a part of this chop. It looks like they chopped it 9 ways.
ICM chop, right?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the payouts now.
It wasn't straight ICM because
It wasn't?
Francis was telling me he came in 8 of 9 and got 4th place money.
Yeah, but he still got 8th place of the chop. I'm looking at the payouts. 146.6 went to Samuel at first. 142 went to Anthony Mayo second. Ryan, I could never pronounce his last name, which is unfair to him because he's a reg and I should know
Give it a shot.
Eriquezo, okay.
Pretty close.
I was going to guess if that was
132 to third. Bruges forced 123.8 to fourth. Maxim not even going to attempt it. 122.8 to fifth. Benedito Bianco 116.7 to sixth. Constantine 116 to seventh. So these are all like very close, very very little jumps. And then Francis got 104 for eighth. Ryan Dodd getting 92 for ninth.
Why are they, I guess, chip distribution wise, everyone was so close and it's just like you're sort of flipping? Or
Well, I don't know what led to the chop, but
it just seems like stacks are close, right? These payouts are very comparable to each
yeah,
other.
I mean, there's only 46k different or 50k difference between ninth and first.
Right.
I don't know what the actual payouts were.
I think the
supposed
most
to be.
amazing thing is that you got 9 people to agree to it.
A lot of professionals too.
That's
Yeah,
very, very hard.
It was 5 a.m.
I was
People
gonna
wanna play,
say
people have ego. Well, actually, maybe professionals, maybe you have a better chance.
no. What ends up happening is today's day 1 of the main, and it was 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah,
So it's
there you
like-
go. Like, come on, guys, we got better things to get to.
Man, honestly, if you're the one guy that's like locked in, if you will, and you say, I'm not shopping, like, will they hate you? Maybe, but you just want to be, you want to be there, you know?
Yeah, to some degree, I imagine, but
You know, like it's worth something. People might get tired and just like blast it, like play poorly because they want to try to like
Yeah.
run up all the chips. You
They're
know, it's a
annoyed-
mystery
they're
bounty
annoyed-
too.
Right, they're annoyed at you and on tilt because you won't chop.
Or not even just you, like just in the field in general, right? People are just going to be willing to gamble more. There is an argument.
yeah, maybe
I ain't shopping. If there's 9 people, no, fuck no. I'm sorry, no. I play.
it. Yeah,
Let 'em cook.
it's also kind of interesting because the bounty aspect comes into play a lot.
They
right?
all just pulled from whatever. Is how it worked.
Randomly, you're saying.
Yeah, like everyone kept
So
their own
everybody
bounty.
keeps their own bounty, right? Okay, so that's kind of interesting.
Okay, new question.
There's
Yeah.
a 250k bounty left.
Yeah, so there was a 250k bounty
Yeah.
left. Let's theory craft. If you're first in chips, you get to choose when you pick your slot. When do you go?
I mean, first.
You go first?
Yeah, of course.
Does
Does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
It does
but-
matter, right?
No, I don't think so.
Because if there's 250k, it's like deal or no deal, right? If there's
Yeah.
one really big prize and then like 3 reasonable ones, and then
Everyone has the same
five-
odds of picking that.
but your odds go up to get the good one if the bad ones get pulled.
But if the
It's less-
bad ones don't, you mean if the bad ones don't get pulled, or I mean if the bad ones do get pulled, right? But if they don't get pulled, then your odds go down. It's the same thing. It's like everyone just pulls.
What are you talking about? If you choose fifth and the 250k is gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
Right, but if you choose first, you get the option of still having the 250k. But if you choose second, then the chances.
Just from them revealing what they have doesn't change the odds. Like, what if they all picked, but they went in order, but nobody looked yet?
It's not. Well, it's not how that.
Do you think it matters?
I don't think that's. I think when you get your envelope, you open it.
Right, but opening the envelope doesn't change the odds. How could it? Right?
Correct.
Doesn't your odds go up if? Let's say someone goes. Let's say there's 9 people.
Right.
The problem starts with 9 people left, not each independent. Like, it doesn't start with you get to choose when you go. And you say, okay, I'm not going first, and then somebody pulls, and now you're 1 of 8 to pull it, and now 1 of 7 and 1 of 6, because there's all the other outcomes that could occur.
Right.
Where like the 250K gets pulled.
Right.
You can't predict.
Yeah.
Like, just because somebody goes in front of you doesn't mean that they pull the shitty one.
No, you can't predict, but there's a 1 in 9 chance that they get the good one, where it's most likely that they're not, right? It's more likely you're going to get it if you're a 50% chance than 1 in 9.
Right, but you have to take into you have to
Everybody chooses everybody's 1 in 9 when they choose their position to pick.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Well, in the sense of if they don't reveal what, or it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You
Doesn't
choose your
matter.
order to pick. Yeah. Everybody chooses their order to pick immediately.
What really matters is that the chip leader is giving up the opportunity to collect more bounties.
I think that I would factor that into the chop.
Right, for sure.
It seems like he should have gotten a lot more money.
I think they should have. I think they should have just taken the bounty prize money and just
chop that,
put that into the actual prize pool, and then considered that with the chop.
Yeah, I think like looking at this,
just everybody getting a free shot at the 250K is nowhere near fair for the chip leader.
Correct. He was going to be a big favorite to have like significantly more bounties.
Doesn't it just depend like what stack depth? That's what I was saying. The chop seems very close to each other because like
it's not that close.
Imagine if you're dead last in chips at the final table and they chop it and you get a chance to pull.
But how many big blinds is dead last in relation to first, right? Because there's a difference of 2 bigs versus 50.
Right.
So what were the stack distributions? What I was asking.
Right. But it's still, when you're dead last in chips, you're unlikely to get one.
Well,
isn't
it? It's just
less likely.
It's just relative. If you have 50 bigs in last place, you have a chance to still win pots and then stack.
But no,
they didn't even choose who went first. They high carded for it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Why?
I think it. I don't know if I'm missing something. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I'll figure it out later. It's not a time to do it on the air. But I feel like there's a theory craft here. But maybe I'm wrong.
It kind of sounds like the Monty Hall problem.
No, it's not.
No?
Money Hall, you get the switch. And that's why it's not deal or no deal either. The big thing with the Money Hall problem is that it's the Money Hall problem, the first portion of it. So when you choose, you have a 33% chance because it's 1 in 3.
Mm-hmm.
The switching part is what increases your odds.
Okay.
Right.
Why does it increase?
Because once you have the information revealed, the host always reveals a non-prize.
Non-prize,
right? So once that happens, now you have a 50-50 chance of the 2 remaining cases. So your case...
Are you familiar with this, Landon?
I know the Monty Hall problem.
Your case that you chose was 33%.
Yeah.
Right? Once the host reveals a non-prize, which will never be your case, and it'll be one of the 2 remaining cases, means that one of the 2 remaining cases, either your prize or the second is going to be the prize, right? When you chose, though, you were 1 in 3.
Yeah.
So it's only 33% likely that your case is, where it's 50% likely that if you switch.
Right. So like in this exact situation, if like the first person pulled and then the tournament director or whoever said, okay, well this one is not it. Do you want to switch with the first person that pulled? He should always switch.
Right. If it's a white elephant type of thing.
Yeah.
Mystery Bounty meets Monty Hall
Could you
final
imagine
tables.
if they did it that way?
Well, then you would have a huge edge being the chip leader.
Right.
But yeah, they just randomized it. They didn't even choose. So like, yeah, there was no advantage here to being the chip leader. It doesn't say. It says that they wrapped up at nearly 6 a.m. And let's see.
Did nobody make like a stink about that? Like the chip leader second in chips?
It doesn't seem like it. Ryan Dodd ended up choosing the 250K on the second pool, which whatever. It's all random, but I think without knowing precisely what the stack distribution was, it seems like, especially there was like 3 big prizes left. So 3 of the 9 remaining bounties were big. The other 6 were just 500. If you're the chip leader, where you're very likely to be a favorite to bust multiple people at this final table, playing it out just seems like a no-brainer unless you're willing to do an ICM chop of the bounty prize pool.
You're saying that they were not allowed to chop bounties, but like they could have. Obviously, making a 9 handshake deal was a little bit ridiculous, but
yeah, that's true too.
Prisoners.
Although I mean, it is a lot of known players there, but yeah, like if there's like 2 people or whatever that like nobody knows, and you just have to trust that if they pull the 250, they're gonna chop it appropriately amongst everybody. Like, there's no fucking chance. But yeah, even not doing an ICM bounty chop. Then that would just be the same as everybody randomly picking. I was gonna say if you do just an even distribution, but that's just the same as everybody picking.
Wow, no, this seems a little bit down bad. Yeah, First and Chips had 7.5 million when the deal was made, big blind 160K, and last place looks like was 3.2. So 20 bigs versus like roughly like 48.
Right.
So like it's a good spot to be chip leader. If I was chip leader, no
deal.
deal.
It's a really good spot to get a deal when you're the bottom 3.
Yeah, Francis said he was 8 of 9, so Francis was like very in for a deal.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
I mean, the second that you're not ICM chopping the bounty prize pool, like this is a huge score for everybody who's not top 3 in chips.
Right.
Like you're just making. I mean, there was 303,000 in the bounty prize pool. By them drawing randomly, each of them is guaranteeing themselves like 35K in equity.
Yeah.
Right. Where like they're entitled. Probably like through ICM distribution,
a lot less.
Yeah, like the bottom guy is probably only entitled to like a couple $1,000.
$5,000 maybe.
Man,
yeah.
If Lars was there, man, he probably would have said something.
Yeah, probably would have showered that. Be like, the EV that you're stealing right now from the chip leader who doesn't know any better.
Yeah, it's not even stealing, right? Because the chip leader agreed to a deal. Man, I wish I could have saw what the payout. What I could have saw, like what I wish I could have saw
was
the payouts prior for FT before the deal was made. Because once the payouts are what they are, they kind of get like changed and wiped. But man, yeah.
I mean, we could do some reverse engineering.
I'm sure. But like, all intents and purposes, if I'm like a top 3 stack here, I don't think I make a deal. I think it's just very especially if it's an ICM chop, right?
Right.
If you ICM chop the chips, you're getting fleeced.
Yeah.
ICM chop
even if it's 5 a.m. You're getting
everybody
fleeced.
getting to pull a bounty. It's just
that's why you're getting fleeced.
That's why.
Because everybody gets to pull the bounty.
Right. Like you have 20 bigs, you get to keep your own bounty.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying.
Yeah, I would guess first place was around 300K. 9th place probably around 30. So chip leader gets like half.
Yeah.
Half of first place.
I would only take a deal if you can if I get more than ICM and chips.
Chip leader got how much?
Like 145.
145, and then the bottom got
92. So like probably close to 3x.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
That is really amazing for the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Francis is saying he got 4th place money at 104,000. Yeah. Then
he's saying the 4th place money in the tournament when they chopped was got it.
Right.
9th place was probably like 20 or 30,000.
Man, the chip leader.
No, probably actually closer to 40 because if Francis was getting 100K for 4th, then first place was probably just shy of 400.
Isn't
it's usually 10%.
Most part, 10%, right?
Yeah. So probably close to 40K for 9th, and
what was first?
Probably close to 400.
Oh, I was thinking
first was 350K.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew that for sure.
Okay, so
first was
350. Yeah,
so like 35.
Man, see,
so you get 3 times that plus almost 3 times that plus a pool at like 35K more in equity.
Yeah,
a bounty pool.
So
that's incredible.
That's why when you make FTs of things that are kind of new, you should have some people to give you some advice.
Yeah,
you saved me. Remember?
Just think about that. So after the ICM chop, and granted, chip stacks were relatively close, so he's not going to get like first place money. But
but it's worth so much.
If it plays out, the EV of the chip leader there is going to be somewhere around, with the bounties, probably going to be somewhere around like 300-ish.
At that point in time, less, right? There's 9 people left.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's probably 225.
No, of course. Well, yeah, no, of course. With ICM, they did an ICM chop, so we can figure this out. So it's 146 that went to first plus like 35K in EV. Or no, sorry, more. That's evenly distributed. So it's probably closer to like 100, 180, 20 maybe.
For what? With the bounty equity?
With the bounty equity.
Oh, got it. So, yeah, so it's 146 plus probably like 100K for bounties.
So yeah, like call it 250.
Yeah.
That he should get with like a true ICM chop.
Well, maybe bounty. That's a lot for bounties, right?
It's only 3 bounties.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, I guess 2 and like 2. I guess we can call it 2.5 or whatever. It's probably somewhere between 200 and 250K for first and chip. For first, and you got 146 plus 35. So you got
so like
181.
Yeah.
So you're just losing 20K.
Ish. Wow, that's on the
generous.
conservative end.
So it's somewhere between 20 and 70.
Yeah.
How much money is there in live MTT?
So much.
Dude.
Why do you guys even play cash?
Honestly, I don't
understand.
Because, man, cash is king.
Yeah, is it though?
Yeah. You can't. You know what it's like? Do you know,
I think
do you
if
know
you're the
feeling?
best of the best, well, you're pretty good.
Do you know the feeling of just like having deuces and just like tripling off for all of it?
Do you know the feeling of having $200 to your name and then 3 days later you have 100K?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, like I know that very well.
Yeah, pretty well.
You can't do that in a cash game.
Maybe tomorrow's TBT will be the 2013 WSOP.
Yes.
Holy shit. Dude, that's crazy. That's so much money.
There's so much money in live cash.
Not even that from this bounty chop. This bounty chop's actually ridiculous.
Oh yeah, because that's just first place.
Yeah.
Second place is also giving up, maybe 1.75x bounties.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the chip.
Maybe even actually more because it seems like they were very close in chips.
That's what I'm saying. I think
There was
first
only
was
a couple
7.5, second was 7 million.
Yeah. Yeah, so he might be giving up like another 70, 60K himself.
Well, he probably is like estimated to win like 1.5 bounties maybe or something along those lines, right? Because it goes from like negative like 25.25 to
Yeah, I think part of the problem here is that everybody that I see near the bottom of the list, like Dodd, Francis, I guess I don't really know a couple of these guys in between.
Yeah.
But like when you have sharp people who are like near last in chips,
take it.
That's what I mean. Like they're probably like, and it's 6 a.m. so not everybody's like thinking straight.
No, they're not.
Or whatever.
That had to be
That's what I'm saying. They want to go home.
Yeah, so it's just like pretty easy to like work a pretty favorable deal here where you're just like, let's just chop the bounties, guys. We all take one.
We're sitting in these chairs and we see it, but like after you've been playing for 2 or 3 days, long days, it's middle of the night. Yeah, maybe you don't.
Well, that's why you need the homies, man. I was gonna take a deal when I was heads up, and then I was told not to do it.
Yeah, this could have been, even though they can't chop the bounties, this very easily could have been fixed.
You just give way more money to you distribute the actual
you
prize
adjust the
pool,
ICM according to the bounties.
You say that each bounty is worth 35K. I'm first, and I'm theoretically guaranteed 1.75 bounties. Right? You come up with the number.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you say, okay, this is how much I want out of the prize pool, and we can all still pick the bounty.
Yeah.
Right,
So like
exactly.
in the instance of Dodd being ninth in chips, instead of
hit the deal button.
Instead of him getting like 92K,
65 or something like that, or 70,
a little bit more, he'd probably have to
Yeah.
give up like 0.8 of a bounty.
Right.
Right.
So
So
because
like,
he could still get a bounty.
yeah.
He has 20
just
bigs,
unlikely.
right? So he's
Yeah.
probably winning like 0.3 bounties.
I was estimating 0.2.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
So
he gives up like 25K maybe or 20.
a little bit more.
Maybe a little more.
So probably closer to like 28K. So now instead of getting 92, he gets somewhere in the neighborhood of like 70.
So funny because now you're playing the game of like bounty gamble scramble, where now you're giving up X amount. You're like, okay, but you can get the 250.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
I see why Francis took the deal now. I'm like, oh,
Of course.
you just fleeced them.
Of course. It's still a good deal for Dodd. So, like, even if he gave up, call it 22K because he's not entitled to a full bounty, he still gets double what he would have gotten if he finished ninth.
Right.
So, he's still getting somewhere around like 7.5 place money, and it's still 6 a.m.
This is why I love theory
He's kind of
crafting.
like doing good, you know?
It's so, wow, theory crafting is great. Because, like, what would have happened? I'm sure they're like, call it like, I was go to Borgata, like, Conrad goes to Borgata, like, makes FT, and like, someone's still awake. Someone's awake. And then he has this kind of conundrum, right? Like when you have people to talk to about it that are like outside people from from that perspective, it's very easy for someone to be like, wait a minute, this is really bad for you if you're chip leader, and this is really good for you.
When you're in the moment and you're
9.
fatigued, it's very easy to overlook.
It's also
these
very
kind of
rare.
details. Yeah.
It's easy to look over too because it's very rare in a tournament situation that you as the chip leader don't have all the power.
Right.
So it's like it probably feels impossible to like Samuel or Anthony in this situation that they could be taking the worst of it as the chip leader doing an ICM chop.
Right.
But because of the bounty prize pool, they're
you don't
getting
realize
wrecked.
in the moment. I mean, I guess you just can't. Where it's like, oh, I'm giving everybody a chance to pull for $35K.
$500.
A lot of people got $5. It was like
$500.
Yeah, 225s.
225s and then a 250.
Francis got a 25. Fucking legend.
It's amazing that 250 didn't get pulled. That had to have been the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's because like that's kind of the power of just having a network and like people that are smart, where you just be like, hey, they want to do this thing. Is this a good idea?
It's still tough though. It's still 6 a.m. You've been playing since noon.
Yeah.
I mean, this happens all the time on the East Coast. It's actually, I shouldn't lump Florida in with that because I don't think of Florida as East Coast, but I guess like technically they are.
Go ahead, bash the Borgata.
But I think of them as South. But yeah, no, the Borgata specifically, this has happened infinite amount of times where the structure of the event is just, it's like they don't know that they get big turnouts. And they just don't account for the fact that like they get these massive prize pools where the structure will not allow for a 1,500 person field to end in 2 days.
Right.
I was literally about to ask you, like, to what % of the responsibility does it go
There should
to
be hard fucking stops at 3 a.m.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, what responsibility goes on the casino for like these things happening? Because you're
Huge.
exchanging 6 figures of equity.
Huge.
Yeah, when all the money's on the line, you're at your most tired.
Yeah, I think even 3 a.m. is like insanely aggressive. Like you're talking about it now being a 13-hour day where you're into the wee hours of the morning after having probably not slept the night before. Like I think that there should be hard caps.
The staff is tired too. The staff, the dealers they're all exhausted too. They're gonna make mistakes because of that.
Yeah, I think that if man, I keep forgetting to follow up with Savage. We were gonna have him on during the WPT and he couldn't get away. This would have been a good time to have him on, but he kind of like is a big part of the TDA summit, and they do a meeting. I think it's every other summer, and I'm not sure if it's due to come up this summer or not. But like this is something that, from the player's standpoint, especially as MTTs are becoming more popular than ever, and fields are getting larger than ever, I would love it if the TDAs took into consideration that when all the money is on the line, it's just absolutely cruel to have players playing on zero sleep.
Yeah, I was talking to some TDs from Florida, like Nate and Jason, where I'm like, they have a hard stop now. After a certain time frame, because like
it used to be at the WSOP they had a 2 a.m. hard stop, and that was fucking great. And then suddenly they started running these like $300 down bad tournaments that are going to last until dawn the next day, and you have to turn around.
Don't be dissing my $300 bracelet events.
I was pumping up the opener last year. Nobody was singing its praises more until I found myself.
I almost won that thing.
Until I found myself.
I was like 200 people away.
Until I found myself at 2:45 in the morning, not having bagged yet, and still having to turn around and be back at 11 a.m. the next day.
You didn't bag that, did you?
No. I couldn't do it. I needed sleep.
So you got your sleep.
No, it's wild because like also just having that conversation, they hit me with a good point too, like of the favor of having a hard stop of what if like someone that's like older is playing the tournament, it gets to 5 a.m. and we're still playing and then they have to drive home.
Yeah.
Right? And like how much responsibility is now in the casino for someone that's like playing a tournament, can't leave.
I mean,
like there's just other extenuating circumstances.
I think that's fair, but it's just like we don't even police drinking that closely.
No,
we're certainly not going to police like
you're not going to
making people tired.
No, but
tired and drunk.
It's another data point.
It's
Factor.
an argument. It's an argument against running.
I mean, even for final tables, right? It's one table. Like there's a table in the casino you could use to finish out this tournament.
I don't think that's why they do it.
Why do you think it is?
Because like, for instance, this one, if they brought it back today, they would have to now, they're already going to be dealing with alternates for the main, for sure. Like for sure, they're going to blow this thing out. And they're already going to have an alternate list. So to segregate a separate table for a tournament that was supposed to end the day before only hurts their bottom line.
9 more.
Yeah, that's 9 fewer people that get in and rotate. Right, so it's 9. It's not just 9 seats. It's 9 seats with people busting. So it might be the equivalency of like 45 or 60 people.
So is the idea to maybe move the schedule a day back to give room for something like this?
Of course, this just should have obviously been a 3-day event. Yeah, that's very clear.
Right, you make it a 3-day event, but then what if they still want to have the main at the same time?
I mean, honestly, like in my opinion, this was a scheduling nightmare to begin with. Like when I was considering traveling, I just nixed it.
We talked about this,
I ended up nixing it because it was like there's only 2 events worth playing: Mystery Bounty and this, and the timing of it all was all during the weekday, immediately after New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to find a way to travel on New Year's Day when airlines are a fucking mess to the East Coast, to the hardest casino on earth to get to outside of Foxwoods, right? You have to fly into Philly and then either rent a car.
Choctaw's pretty tough.
Nah, it's not that bad.
The
You still have
flying
to
to
get a car.
Dallas and then rent a car and drive up, but
Yeah, I guess it's kind of comparable.
it's the same thing.
But like you're never dealing with weather,
Not yet. Maybe
right?
tornado.
And also the Dallas airport is not the Philly airport, which is just.
I don't fly into Philly that often, so I don't.
Oh man, you don't remember these trips? You made these trips.
Yeah, I was just so happy to be there at the time.
Philly airport's fucking the worst. The only one worse than Philly is Detroit, and I've only been there once, and I'll never, hopefully, have to do it again. It's such a nightmare to navigate, but it's so impossible to get there easily, and now you have to basically strip away the entire week. So it's like they pull from New York as their major market to begin with. It doesn't make sense to me that this. At least one of the starting days isn't on a weekend. But I guess the way that they're viewing it is, okay, we'll run day 1A Wednesday, day 1B Thursday, and anybody who's a working person will just play day 1B and take off. And then, but it's like you're asking them to take off Thursday, you're asking them to take off Friday. They're thinking about the back end of it instead of the front end.
Yeah.
When it comes to recreationals, you just get them in there on the days that they can play. And then if they go deep, let them deal with the work issue thereafter. Right. So it's like, for me, it seems like it would have made a hell of a lot more sense for the 5K to start on Friday and then Saturday be 1B. Right. And then you just run it through Tuesday or whatever the following week. Now it's like if you're playing on a weekday, it's a good problem to have because you're guaranteed some amount of money or whatever. And now the bounty could have started on Tuesday normally, the way that it did, and ran through Thursday, or started on Wednesday and ran into day 1A of the bounty or the main event. I don't know. But yeah, it's like with all of the festivals that are going on, especially January is jam-packed with live MTTs. With everything that's available, especially coming off the win and now going into Florida and then PCA and PSPC, you have so much to choose from where it's not a 2-tournament stop, right? Like, I can't believe how many people from the West Coast traveled to Borgata.
Well, I guess there's part of it being that Florida is also very close to it, so you kind of make
2 weeks
the rounds.
away.
But yeah,
Nobody's staying in Jersey.
not staying in Jersey, but staying.
Well, they're not flying to Florida on the 4th.
Jersey adjacent, you know,
Jersey
having an East Coast family.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm from there, and I don't want to be there in the middle of
Go to
January.
New York City.
Yeah, Jersey
It's
adjacent.
nice-
You go,
nice
but the
this time of
Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. You know it's popping.
That is popping. That is popping for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's just like if you're gonna, I understand that they're just bringing it back, but there's been a strong desire for East Coast poker to come back.
Yes.
So like, there was no doubt that this was gonna do well.
Yeah.
For it not to be
Smashing.
like, an 8 to 10 event festival, seems like a big miss in my opinion.
Right, it could have stretched out because if they knew what Florida's schedule was going to be like from the 12th to the 28th, they could just have their thing from the 4th or whatever,
And they
the
used
3rd to the 11th.
Maybe not even that early, right?
Yeah.
Start it this weekend, you know,
Sure.
and run it right up until Florida. But yeah, they used to do a really great job of this whenever it was a WPT. They would run the WPT in Borgata, like, actually, I think back then, because it was always on my birthday, they would run it simultaneous to like PCA.
Yeah.
But it was right off the back end of Florida. So it's
Yeah.
the same way that the schedule's set up now
Well, like
with PCA.
they scheduled them for people to travel around. Like why it was the circuit, right? It was
Yeah.
like, they made sure that like you could just go from stop to stop to
Yeah.
stop to stop.
And I guess what they're thinking was that a lot of people will be on the East Coast for the holidays. Like West Coasters will already be out here for one reason or another. So now they could just dip into the Borgata. And that's probably partially true.
I mean, I just.
And it's the first time they're bringing it back, so like maybe they didn't want to just go all out and.
I
don't know, man.
I mean, they are running a business, and maybe they want to take that kind of risk.
It seems like the schedule.
Even though it's
What
schedule.
risk?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like outside looking in, like yes, this is gonna smash, but
Not tortoise approved.
Just you never know. Sometimes you just gotta go slow and steady.
Like it just feels like a scheduling error, right?
I mean, yeah, but
I mean, either dates or just lack of volume.
Like you
one
just
or the
brain
other.
solve it, right? Just either have enough stuff to lead up to Florida if you know Florida's going to exist, which it always does. Like Florida always has their
Right.
stuff pretty on the ball as
Yeah,
to
yeah.
when these things happen, right? So if you know that this thing is going to happen, just schedule accordingly, where now you either start early still like you want to and then have other stuff, or you just delay it a little bit and say, hey, you start here, you go Florida, and then you wherever's next that's not Bahamas, right? Because it's
Yeah.
nice where it's, if you're playing everything, to go from Borgata, Florida, Bahamas, back to wherever you need to go. Seems pretty clean, you know. And if you're not going to the Bahamas, if the next stop is in Cherokee or whatever, it's right there.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, they obviously want to cater to the recreational crowd.
Yeah.
So it's like building an entire schedule around your pros may not make a ton of sense. But we have to recall, whenever we talk about this, like, I understand why everybody wants to build around Rex, but they'll come.
Yeah.
70% of your field is going to be professionals or people who are doing this seriously.
If people are in the area, they're still going to play.
Right.
Right? That's not the issue. I mean,
Right.
I guess assuming, even if the idea is that there's more people on the east side of town because of family, because of the holidays anyways, you just run this tournament.
It's just called the country town. You know, the east side of town.
It's the east side of town.
They're just hanging out on the shore.
Yeah, well, that's what they expected. You could still run a series after that, right? Just have some other, like, not, I guess, side events that still run
I think if you look at past performances, prelims do incredibly well.
And post-lims and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, yes, have some post-lims, but prelims specifically
They smash.
do incredibly well. They used to run like a $500 opener type of thing.
Yeah.
That would Asher chopped it. This is way back whenever he first got his start. But he either chopped it or won it outright. It was his first like 6-figure score.
Yeah.
And then he parlayed that into winning the WPT championship like a week later at the Borgata for, you know, near $1 million. So it's like, I think that, and this is just me making assumptions, but I imagine that since they've been so long without running events, there was a fear of staffing issues, or you know, just being able to run things smoothly. Like Tab isn't there anymore. I'm not sure who the tournament director is these days, but Tab's been gone since, you know, pre-COVID.
It's crazy, right? As in, like, they just didn't expect the return that it got.
No, not that. Just more so that they may not. They may have feared trying to run multiple events at the same time that they wouldn't have the staff to pull it off. Again, I'm just speculating. I'm speculating. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but
right. It'd be kind of cool, at least from my perspective, to kind of know these things, where it's like having some sort of analysis as like how these things kind of happen, and like it makes sense to have a schedule. Borgata, start there, go Florida, somewhere else.
I mean, we've been talking about this for 20 years. It sucks that all of the tours see themselves as competition rather than as allies, because if they could just all unite and create like a high stakes, mid stakes, low stakes tour across the nation, and you know, basically just choose their dates and locations based off of everybody else that's in whatever bracket is that they're trying to facilitate, you know, MTT poker would just
Right, because what really happens is the ones that have the most pull as is kind of create their schedules, and then these subs, like the subsection ones, like call it the lower tier, like tier in relation, then build around it because they don't have a choice. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, like the power of choice is strong, and maybe just like the current free market approach of like, let's just give our customers options. And wherever they want to go, they'll go. Yeah. Maybe that is the best approach. The only reason why I think we want something more structured is because it's so difficult to plan.
Yeah.
Like if I want to plan my May right now, I can't because nobody's announced dates yet.
Yeah.
Right. And the WSOP won't be announced for another month or two, and everybody in town waits for them to announce first,
right?
So that they can then build a supplementary schedule off of that and ensure that, you know, they compete appropriately. And it's fine.
It is. It's a good problem.
Yeah.
It's a good problem. But it's nice to know.
But it sucks because it forces, like, you know, WPT, for instance, doesn't release their entire year-long schedule at once.
No.
Right? Because, again, they don't want to just, like, give the competition a leg up.
Right, because they kind of get a leg up if they get to choose, where a WPT will inherently get more people as is because they're WPT.
It's also
works both ways.
It's hard to make major changes.
Yeah, it works both ways. If WPT is on the West Coast running a 3,500 main and you're Florida, you just run a 3,500 main on the East Coast.
Why?
Because
people want to travel all the way across the country. They're
You'll just pull the East Coast and they'll pull the West Coast, and, you know, anybody who's like value hunting will figure out where they want to travel to.
West Side Story.
It's just the way that it works, right?
Like if you're on the East Coast, imagine, and Florida's running at 3,500, you're not going to travel Vegas to play one.
Right, like you know that that's going to be a good event, and it's a 45-minute flight or drive.
Because like what you do know about some stops is that they happen at the same time of the year. Like we know Florida, January, April, August, November. That's always set.
Yeah.
Right, but the dates are always TBD.
Correct.
And keeping that kind of a secret is enough.
Yeah, well, also they're just they're kind of a tournament powerhouse, so there's no one else on the East Coast to compete with them.
Yeah.
So they can give up their dates, and it doesn't matter.
Do something about it.
Because who's gonna rival them, right? And if a West Coast casino tries to rival them, again, it's like there are a few stops in America right now that stand on their own
as like tours.
Yes, and it's literally just like the Wynn, Seminole, and it was previously the Borgata, right? So
because I don't even know shit about Borgata.
Right. So Borgata is now kind of cut out.
You've never been there.
Nope.
And a good example of like how big of a stranglehold they had was they were doing, thousands for 3,500 main events, like near $1 million whenever they'd run a 3,500 main.
And Jesse won one.
Correct. You look at the Maryland casinos that are actually a shorter trip to New York City than the Borgata.
Really?
And an easier
Maryland
trip.
Live.
Maryland Live, not Boston Harbor, National Harbor.
Okay.
Those are the two Maryland casinos.
Got it.
They have a direct train to New York. The flights are easier. It's way easier for people in New York City to get to Baltimore than it is for them to get to
Parks
AC.
Too.
Parks crushed.
Yeah.
Parks is actually the shortest trip to New York City, and they crushed because of it.
There you go.
They just lack the space.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is like the Maryland tournament tours, shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like they ran WPTs there for a little while and they never got any sort of turnout. It was like
Nidus won.
Yeah, it was small.
Let's go Nidus.
Like, 300-400K to first. So it's like a third, maybe half of what the Borgata would do.
And that's just because of travel hassle?
I think it's
and spacing?
No. It's way easier to travel to than AC. I think it's just like a lack of no. I think it's a lack
marketing.
of marketing. Like they're just not as big. They can't stand alone. Right, so they're more like the Thunder Valleys.
And, sure.
And things.
They're also not like,
and they don't have a local draw either.
They weren't established like.
Right, they weren't as established. They don't have a local draw. Borgata pulls from Philly, from New York, from Baltimore, from that entire
Atlantic City was
area.
huge.
That makes sense.
It was like up until the late 90s or whatever, maybe even the 2000s. Like you wanted to gamble and you lived on the East Coast, you went to Atlantic City.
Right.
That was the only place to go.
Yep.
Like there was no casinos outside of Atlantic City unless you went to Las Vegas.
Right. I guess that's what makes Florida what it is too, is it's such a nice stop as is. Like people love going to Florida.
Yeah, it's a vacation spot.
Exactly. It's busting over there for real.
Yeah. They do a good job of setting their events during the kind of like off time too.
Right. It's very relaxed and it's good weather and it's not the down bad time.
It's like cheap to go. Like we booked an Airbnb for this Florida stop and it's like, I don't know, $2,800 on the beach for a week.
On the beach?
I mean, it's a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a walk to the beach.
It's nice.
It's beach adjacent.
Yeah, it's a really nice place.
Man,
too bad we're gonna be in the casino the whole time.
I wish the poker community liked memes, like normalized memes as much as like the Zoomers do.
Zoom.
You fucking love
I need to be the bridge between normalized memes and the poker community, because everyone's like the average age in the poker community is like 35, right? You'd say mid-30s.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, I mean that's what it's been for 20 years, so I guess it probably isn't changing much now.
Yeah, we got to change that. We got to get the Zoomers in here.
Shout out to FTWNF. Hit us with a super chat. He said, I chopped the Borgata today at 5 a.m. 6 ways. Still kind of regret it. Should have waited till 4 players, but I was easily convinced when I was tired. I mean, if you got an ICM chop and it wasn't a bounty, you probably did okay.
Yeah.
Get some sleep, man.
Yeah,
take a day off,
ICM chop, no bounty, you're all right. ICM
score.
chop with the bounty, and then we have to have a conversation.
Down real bad.
Yeah, but see, now that you're listening, you won't do it.
That's right. We're out here to educate.
We're educators. Educators, gentlemen, and scholars.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Padding people's roles.
Yeah. Spending money.
As the meme lord,
Yeah.
young Landon Tice,
Yeah.
you will appreciate the thumbnail we used today.
What is it? What we got?
We have Landon bought a car.
I did buy a car.
You bought a car?
I bought a fucking car, dude. Holy shit.
You don't have a license, man.
You don't have a
License.
car.
Wait, can you explain to the audience this down bad rationale that you have of how it makes more sense to buy a car when you don't have a license than if you did have a license?
Look,
It forces you to get a license.
Look, there's cart in front of the horse people, and then there's cart behind the horse people, right? So if you're a cart in front of the horse person, you have your system of horse, cart, right? So you can't go very far. Then you need a horse at the front of it to then get the ball rolling.
I think we get that.
If I'm a horse, cart, horse person, I have my horse.
What's the horse in the back doing?
The horses in the back. The horses stay in the back. It's a little nonsense.
You want to put the cart in front
you got the horse. I want to put the cart in front of the horse so I can get another horse in front of the cart.
The cart won't move.
That's why he bought another horse.
That's why I bought another horse, because now it'll move.
How many horses does that Tesla
It's
have?
the horses in the back. It's got a lot of horses.
Too many fucking horses for.
Let's go. I bought a car.
Guapo's on one,
it's
man.
It's crazy. It's so funny, man. It's so fucking wild. Like, I remember when I first got into poker, just in general, and people would like ask me about cars or whatever. What? No, come on. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Is this? Stop. Jesus. Come on. It's fine. Do I really need the blanket?
I love you.
No, you're fine.
No, he's just fucking with me. Okay.
The dude with the giant cock is doing a good job.
Yeah, he's just anyways. Don't demonetize.
R.I.P. Put your memes up in the chat.
Fuck your couch, dude. Anyways, like when I was talking about cars with like family, I'd always be like, oh yeah, I think I want to get a Tesla as my first car, you know? And of course, like rationale, it's like, oh, like no, like there's no way, like that's not gonna happen. Like you have to get a car anyways. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a Tesla as my first car. And like now that that's actually kind of came into reality and sort of part of like, I just straight up bought it and like it's my car, you know? I kind of really wanted to be able to like not have to worry about like monthly payments or whatever, even though apparently insurance is a thing and getting titles is a thing.
Bro, this whole process is so hilarious to me.
I know, man. I get it. Like when we were 16,
it's all part of Landon evolving and growing up and becoming the man that he is.
I'm a triplet, okay? So I have two brothers. I'm the oldest by a minute, adjacent to both. It's like my C-section children, and younger sister. So when we all turned 16, if we all like wanted to get licenses and insurance and all that stuff, like getting a car would be expensive. So it's always kind of put it on the back burner. My brother Dalton ended up getting a car years ago. Other brother still hasn't gotten one, and my sister got a license and a car and like figured all that stuff out. But for me, like I've always kind of saw it as this massive, massive responsibility, and I still do, of course. So like this is a motorized vehicle that can go really fast and like you can literally like lose your you can like die in car.
Electric.
Yeah. It goes zoom, you know, it zooms, it goes fast. And
owning a vehicle and driving a vehicle is a big responsibility.
It's a massive responsibility. Yes. So like when the massive responsibility exists and I have like a very small fear of just driving as is, you know, it's very hard to pull the trigger to take the steps to get the license and then think,
that's a rational fear that I think most people have. People get excited because they want to drive, but everyone has a little bit.
Yeah, some people get excited about wanting to drive. Some people get fears of going on planes. Some people have fears of being in public. You know, people have.
But
fears
I'm just saying for driving in general, I think everybody kind of has that a little bit of fear.
Right, and then it's just a matter of when you get older and you always put it off. You always think to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to get this done at some point." You know.
I just can't believe you've been inconvenienced for 7 years. Like, how did you get around?
Ask Chin.
I'll never understand these type of people, man. I had my permit the day I turned 16.
I didn't go anywhere.
Right,
I didn't get around.
That's the thing. He's different than Chin. Chin lived in like where public transportation was very readable. Or readable? It's not a word.
Look, I get it.
Readily available.
You were cool in high school and college, man. I get it. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. I didn't leave my house. I played video games in high school for 4 years. I went to college, lived on the dorm for 2 years, played video games, went to the gym and walked. I didn't go outside. Living
in Vegas, as you've probably know now after living here for a couple of years, it's a very big inconvenience to not be able to have a car and drive.
Not really, because where I'm going with this.
You have Matt to drive you.
Well, where I'm going with this is, okay, we're gonna play the clip first. Sure.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's just B-roll, buddy.
Okay, cool. No, it's fine. Because where I'm going with this is, it's obviously my fault, so to speak, or I chose to. I did not leave my house. I dropped out of college. I stayed in my room for 2 years. I did not leave my house. I moved to Vegas. I did not leave my house. But then as soon as I moved in with you and started doing stuff for Solve for Why, I now have to leave the house. And when the small problem of, driving scares me festers, it becomes this big fucking thing where most people get it done at 16 and it's not that scary anymore. So it's always just been a fear of mine, and I finally pulled the trigger on it, and now I have this car, which is now an impetus for me to actually do something with it.
Okay, let's hear the plan. So what are we doing? I gotta
figure out what the fuck the DMV is.
Exactly.
I don't even know how to spell DMV.
Man, it is nice to never have to go to the DMV for your first 24 years of your life.
Is it? Well, now it's scary.
The PA DMV was easy.
Yeah.
The Nevada DMV, totally different story.
Now you can make an appointment, and that's what you should do. You should always if you can make an appointment, do that, and don't just go, because if you just go, you're just going to waste 3 hours of your life.
He doesn't know what to make an appointment for is the problem.
I can find it online. I have friends, that's what you're for. What friends are for.
I assume there's like a book that you get to study. Then you take the learner's permit, written test. Then you get your permit for how long do you have to have it? I don't know.
Here,
you can make it a vlog.
Here,
Landon
not at
learns
all.
how to get a
Here
license.
you can just take the test and you get your driver's license.
No,
you don't have to get a permit first.
You do, but it's just like you can't do it same day. Basically, like if you're over 18, there's no, I guess, gestation period where you have to have the permit
for so long. Yeah.
If you're under 18, you have to have it 60 days.
Okay.
But if you're over 18, you can immediately then take the driving test.
So you can have your permit Thursday and your driver's license Friday.
I mean, yeah.
He's already done all the research for you.
Depending on like when you book you have to make an appointment to get the driving test done.
We had this conversation in the kitchen yesterday with me, Melissa, Eric, and you, talking about the rules and how much insurance is going to be, and how to get a license plate for the car, and all of that stuff. But I find it fun.
Good. That's great.
Yeah.
And now I have a car, and you can be the passenger princess.
I can't wait.
You're the passenger princess.
Wait till you see how much fun it is to get hit with that yearly registration. See, we don't pay state tax here.
I don't know what that means.
I know you don't know what that means,
Yeah,
but
what
you're
does it
going to
mean?
find out.
What does it mean?
Well, we don't pay state tax here. So what that results in is that registration fees are incredibly high. It's usually like some percentage of the car's worth. So for instance, when I first leased my Maserati, year one of registration, I think was $2,400.
No.
Yeah.
2,400?
Yeah. I'm on year 4. So
this guy's balling.
My lease just ran up.
Bussin'.
My lease just ran up, as did my registration. So I'm currently driving an unregistered car, but I turned it in like a week anyway.
Tell people.
But like year 4, I think is still like $1,200.
Wow.
And it's depreciated, probably like half of its value.
That's why I drive a Civic.
Do you have to get a smog check for a Tesla? How does that work?
No,
I don't think.
you don't even have to get a smog test for like some newer cars. Yeah.
Well, you do eventually. But
but like when you first get a new car, usually the first
like
one or two
I just get
registrations
leases every 3.5 years, and I never get smog tests.
What is a smog test?
Well, you don't have to worry about it. You have an electric vehicle.
I know what smog is. Yeah.
Okay,
nice.
so
see,
like,
I'm fading the smog test.
So like on like older vehicles,
oh my God,
a few year old older vehicles, they have to make sure that they're it's not emitting too much pollution, CO2, whatever you call it. And so they run this little test. Have you seen it all over town where it's like smog test? There's little.
He doesn't listen when people talk. You think he pays attention to his surroundings?
They're everywhere. They're literally on every corner in Vegas.
I don't remember one.
Usually
of them.
at gas stations. Next time you pass a gas station, look, you'll see. We had smog, and then you go. You pay them $20. They do a little test. It takes 5-10 minutes, and then you get approved. They send that to the DMV, and then you can register.
It's not unique to here. We did emission tests in PA also. Well, depending on what county you lived in, actually. Yeah, remember you would get 2 stickers if you were in Westmoreland County, and only 1 if you were in Armstrong. It was the difference between being able to run a straight pipe versus having to have a catalytic converter. I know these things because I had a ghetto car.
Yep.
That was Frankenstein.
Yeah, I'm like registration in Pennsylvania was like $20.
Yeah.
Here it is like for like not a Maserati, like a normal car. It's usually around.
Still gotta be like a couple hundred.
Yeah.
I paid
$300.
I paid
maybe.
$140, and my car's like 10 years old.
Okay, yeah. So brand new, your car's probably like 5x that.
I think when I was paying like on the last year I had my G6, paying about $100. but it was like
That's insane. Your G6 was
10
19 years old.
10 years old.
Yeah, sure it was.
It was 2007. It was last year I had it was 2016. So yeah,
Corey just got rid of his.
I know.
Wasn't working
the
anymore.
G6. Fly like a G6.
What was your first car?
A 89 Chevy Nova hatchback.
The Chevy Nova.
They took a muscle car from the
was
70s
amazing.
and turned it into a fucking clown car. It was embarrassing.
So how did you get this car, or what?
My dad, my dad was wealthy. Well, not wealthy, but like he made six figures, and for some reason owned this piece of shit. So I turned 16 in 1998, I guess.
I was not born yet.
So this thing was like almost 10 years old. You have to pull up a picture of a Chevy 9 Nova hatchback, Guapo.
Chevy 9 Nova.
89
Chevy
Nova hatchback. It is the most. It's the closest thing to a go-kart I think that an adult could drive. And
You're
like,
16.
Obviously, it's fine for a 16-year-old. It's insane that my dad is an adult.
No.
As an adult engineer.
Not
That is
bussin'.
not good.
Not bussin'.
Click on that white one. That's actually the exact model that I had minus the hubcaps.
Wow.
Or the navy blue one. Actually, the navy blue one's the exact model.
Was it a four-door?
Okay.
Yeah, the navy blue one is the exact model that I had.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, brings back
That's
memories,
it.
Burke.
That's it right there. We called it the shagging wagon for no good reason.
There was no shagging going on that wagon.
All it was
was you and the boys.
Yeah.
You and the boys.
It was like a.
You and the Brian's one of the boys.
Here,
I was
Guapo,
there.
I'm gonna send you a link to my Instagram. I have a picture of it.
Ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous. How are you formerly not adults?
I don't think you understand. We were adults. Like this is what it's like to grow up, not super wealthy. So I was gifted this car, obviously, and it really was the perfect starter car because everything was fucking wrong with it.
Why is that a good thing?
Because you need to learn how to do shit.
You learn how to
I could change my brakes. I could rotate the tires. I could change my oil, change my transmission fluid. I could diagnose, how dire
you had to,
problem
or
was.
it would just sit there.
Right. Yeah. You couldn't just
Nobody else is going to do it for you. So
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And you can't pay a mechanic to do it.
No, of course not.
It's an 89 Nova hatchback. You take it to a mechanic, he's going to tell you to junk it.
Brian, what was your first car?
So I drove around in
shagging
was
wagon.
it was the Blue Cruise. It was the 92 Chevy Cavalier. And
Image.
it was
Get the
like,
graphic.
Yeah, get that one going.
Get the
That
graphic.
was that baby.
How'd you get that car?
Called it
Go
the
on.
Blue Cruise. It was my parents' car, and then they pretty much just let me use it whenever. Like I technically wasn't my car ever.
Yeah.
Then they had a I forget what year it was, a Pontiac Grand Am. Oh yeah, look at that baby.
Wow. It's the first one?
It was like the blue one. Yeah, that blue one right there in the middle.
The third image? Like third from the bottom? Third from the
Yep.
That
there
one,
it is. That's the bad
That might
boy
just
right
be
there.
the car.
Mm-hmm.
That might just be the tortoise. You might see a tortoise in there.
we called it the Blue Cruise. We all had nicknames for our cars,
Did you come up with?
Shaggin'
Did you come
Blue
up with it, or was it like someone else did and then it had to stick?
Shout out to John Simon. He's the one that gave it the.
Everybody, he
Simmons.
christened all the nicknames.
Well, he gave mine he called mine the Blue Cruise.
Who gave Matt the SW?
I'm sure it was one of my friends, and they were obviously memeing because there was no shagging going on at any point in time.
No wagging.
But what we used to do, the reason why I said it was like such a great beginner car is because
It makes sense, yeah.
we all had to figure out like what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah.
So we would just take our cars down to John Simon's place, and we would just like try stuff. So I learned how to tint. I learned how to.
You're basically a mechanic.
It was huge to just like tint your. It didn't matter what kind of car you had. Put some tint on it. Put a system in it.
Yeah.
Maybe put a random spoiler on the back of it.
You became mechanic adjacent.
Yeah, I'm not
trick
saying
that thing out.
I'm not saying that I bought some hot speakers back in the day, but
They were busting.
I got a really good deal from a friend, and I don't think they were his.
Amazing.
But yeah, I had a bussin' ass system in there that I paid like $50 for.
Yep.
I had an amp, 2 12s and a 10.
Painting friend's car. Frank, no clickbait, spelled wrong.
Can't find this goddamn picture.
Is this you guys working on the Blue Cruise?
Yeah, pretty much.
Guapo, what was your first car?
Oh God. It
A
was,
Guapo.
It was very cliche. I bought it with my own money. It was a
There we go.
1964 Chevy Impala.
Oh wow.
Image,
yeah.
please.
Sure.
That's a
He says
that's a
sure.
badass car.
It didn't. I had to work on it for a while, but
Yeah,
it was
you know,
The police
64
cruiser.
Impala. Were you like cruising down like Long Beach with Snoop Dogg?
cool. I wish.
Where were you living at the time?
North Las Vegas,
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
are you from here?
born and raised.
Born and raised. Yeah,
Wow.
he is the true local.
Wow.
All of us just act like we're locals.
We're local adjacent. though.
Local Jason.
You've been here for a while. Matt's been here for a while. I'm gonna be here for a while probably. I love it here. I really do. So quiet outside this.
Yeah, look
outside
at
this
that
door.
thing. Now that's a
That's a shaggin' wagon.
Did you put some hydraulics in that thing?
I did not.
You wanted to though.
I did.
Did you do anything like what's your experience with cars and like mechanic work? Are you on the Matt?
So I
From me to Matt, how good are your cars?
I know how to pump gas.
Okay, so you're
Much
closer,
closer
to,
to Landon.
You're
than
closer to me. Than
Yeah.
Matt. Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of there with you too, Guapo. I didn't. I mean, I could do a few things like the basic stuff.
Okay,
like change
how-
a tire, oil, but when it came to like, anything wrong with the motor, I was
How valuable are what are the most valuable skill sets that someone can have for basic mechanic repair that are like almost paramount
Well, now it's almost useless.
because you just call?
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many easier ways, and
They're so
also
advanced,
you have
too.
money. Yeah.
They're also so much advanced.
Also, you
It's
have
their
money.
computer system in every card that so you need to really know what you're doing. So that you just
To some degree, yeah. I mean, like back then, it was imperative because we weren't ever going to get a new car. Like Guapo, I sent you the link in the chat. You can see it. But yeah, I mean, like they were very important life skills that like our parents had to go through in generations before because we were in a mechanical time. But we've shifted now into a technological time.
Right.
And it's just like, it's not really all that important to know how to change your oil unless you want to save $30. And honestly, it's a fucking hassle.
right.
Yeah.
Like when you're dealing with imports or, these higher end cars, it's a fucking nightmare to get up in there and get dirty. And,
Yeah.
we had all the tools to do it too. Like Jason was one of my best friends and his dad was a mechanic for PennDOT for decades. So we would just take the cars down there. He would walk us through like how-tos and
Yeah. So
there it is. There's the wagon.
Oh baby. Oh, is that Maria?
Yeah. Through a little,
Berkey and
a little
Maria.
Easter egg.
through
That's who he wanted in the shaggin' wagon.
Yeah.
But never
I was
happened.
head over heels in love with her.
We have to do
we go from the
real
shaggin'-
Thursday throwback.
We
Yeah.
go from the shaggin' wagon to the
To this.
Maz.
Wow. Yep. Look at that.
You gotta give him
was-
his flexes.
That
you
was
know?
that was the first mods that I got. That was
Damn,
unbelievable.
Berkey.
Wow, look at the caption. Come a long way from being broken carless.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that I grew up without a car, so me getting a car was the first car that my family had. So it wasn't like my mom had a car and now we had a second car.
Ancient
Like that was
relic.
just the
Yeah.
first car that my family had. Period.
The origin story.
But also like thereafter, I never wanted a piece of shit again. So the next car that I actually bought when I was in college,
I
I'd
remember this
saved
one.
up. I'd saved up forever, and I bought this like John Simon's friend
Mazda
actually.
Miata.
No. Did not have a Miata. My nephew for
It
some
was
reason.
a Mazda.
No. I got a Geostorm.
Oh, the Geostorm. I forgot about the Geostorm.
Yeah, so I bought a Geostorm from Simmons's
You were about Geostorm or about Geo2?
former babysitter. And I don't know if you know what those look like, Guapo, but
No, we need,
What-
every time a car is named, we need an image.
what
Yes.
a glorious
Okay.
sports vehicle.
How
this-
much did
this
you
turned out
spend
to
on
be.
this car?
$600. I got it used, obviously. And it was like every
was
penny that
black,
I ever
right?
saved. Yeah, it was black. So it was very close. It was a 93 Geostorm. It was the last year that they made it. So
So it's that car right there.
no.
Pretty close.
No, that was like
but-
the 91, 92 version, I think. I didn't have the back windshield wiper.
So you're saying that was this Geostorm
Yeah, see, this
is
is
a
a
better car.
91. I had a 92 or 93. I think I had 93. Whatever the last year was that they made it.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was a 93.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had the black version. Yep. Threw rims on it. I bought
You put rims on that.
I bought a $200
Oh, yeah, you
set
did.
of rims off of one of those fucking shady internet sites. Threw those on there. Threw a system in the hatch. Loved hatchbacks, man.
Oh,
Had to have it. My insurance went up because it was a sports car. So I was paying like $100 a month now instead of like $12. But
This is
we were really busted. It was a stick. It was a 5-speed. You'll never know how to drive a 5-speed in your life.
No.
Nah,
Nor
but
should you need
like
to.
I can obviously, as I got to this point in time where my first car, I spent $30K on this car. But I didn't want a bad car. Like just inherently from the start, like I didn't want to do the whole monthly payment thing. I'm like, I want to just buy a car. I want to have this car for X amount of time and be done with it. Like that's what my
you
PC
kind of
setup.
actually fuck yourself a little bit. You
Sure.
should lease or finance just to get your credit up. But I mean, you did steal a nice car for pretty cheap.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, he's taken. He gave me a good deal.
WPT felt the need to
give me a
cover
bone.
this.
I love that they see my life in memes because I see my life in memes.
Sure.
I think it's kind of a story when one poker player buys another poker player's car.
I'd
It'd be
say-
a better story if they just played heads up for it.
yeah.
Man,
That
would've
would have
been
been
great.
great.
That's the content we fucking need.
We can still work that out for when he gets a new car, new house, lease poker. But it's one of those things where like we talk about, we make a joke, like gathering all of the ancient poker relics. Like I have Kuhn's desk,
Yeah.
I have Daniel's car,
Yeah.
I own like the
You have
Infinity
pieces from,
Gauntlet
like,
of
all
yeah.
these
Yeah.
Hall of Fame poker players.
Yeah.
Is Kuhn's desk, Daniel's car, my house.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
just-
going to fucking buy your house. I swear to God.
Bro, buy it.
I
It's
will.
yours.
Somehow you have Doyle Brunson's golf clubs.
I can.
About the
It's
same
funny.
height.
I can kind of scavenger hunt. I'm sure. Like if someone gave me a list of things I had to get before X amount of time, I'm sure I could do it.
I don't know, man. You're not that likable.
I'm sure I could do
Jeez.
it. I live-
Doyle was trying to keep a hold of them clubs, man. He still gets out there. you
Someone
know?
wants to make a list and bet me on it. I'm sure I can get it done.
Now we're talking. We'll close on this because I just think it is too fucking good not to show. Josh Aria tweeted yesterday something to the effect of like, this is what real competition looks like. And for anybody who has never watched competitive darts,
Oh my God, I love this.
you're doing yourself a disservice. I used to watch it kind of like in passing when I was younger, just because it's so fucking hype. But man, the Brits really just know how to get you into the mix. So let's roll this clip.
Got to find a breaker throw in this set if he wants to level up the World Championship final. Michael van Gerwen isn't in any mood to give him a sniff.
Yeah, the combination finishing in this game is going to be key. You can tell by the way they're scoring, there may be nothing in it. They may both be on nines. Michael may miss and Michael may hit. They're both on nines. They're both on a nine. This is insane. Come on now.
Wow, the World Championship final. Michael van Gerwen is on a 9 darter in the World final and just misses double 12. Over to you, Michael Smith.
One man misses, does the other man get? I have never seen the like. Come on, Spolly boy! Yes, double 12! That is the most amazing leg of odds you will ever see in your life. I can't speak. I can't speak.
They're going absolutely nuts. Look at that. Pandemonium.
It's the most amazing
Giants win the pennant.
the most amazing sporting display we've ever witnessed. I've never seen anything like it. Honestly, like they must have 20,000 people in that fucking arena.
Wow.
I mean,
Love
you think that's crazy, but have you seen what it's like when people play League of Legends?
No.
These stadiums are packed, like full, like sold out, like 50,000 people, a bunch of people just like watching these monitors and stuff on a big screen, like in a LAN, like League
I
Worlds.
Love
It's
it.
crazy.
We need more of it, man.
Yeah.
How do we get-
We need those announcers in poker.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
but poker's not that cool and it takes too long.
Yeah, no,
That's
you're
the
right.
issue.
It does, but like, man, how crisp! Come on, the boys.
Yeah, because like poker is a slow moving game. It's like golf. You know, you can't hype up golf in
Yeah,
that same
that's true.
regard.
Right, but the golf announcers are perfect.
No,
like,
they're
they
clean.
get the whisper in so
Right.
good. The Tigers lining
But
up
then
for a putt for
when people
birdie.
do make that final shot, they go nuts.
That's why they're so good at it, because like they're just sitting there with casual talk. "Oh, the Tigers lining up for birdie, And he sinks it. But, when it's on 18 for the win, they just absolutely lose it.
Yeah, but like in sports, like those sports like basketball, right? Like high octane sports, it's easy to keep the energy. Like in that spot, every shot was important.
Well, it's nice when the
darts.
crowd keeps you on cadence.
Yeah.
Oh! Oh!
Yeah, that's what you want for pickleball. That's what you need.
Yes. Every shot, just like 20,000 people erupting. I'm absolutely.
It's like someone makes a bet in poker and then they go into the tank for.
Honestly, it is kind of interesting in the sense that like darts is kind of like a bar. Darts is like it's a bar game.
It's a bar sport,
right? So like this kind of rowdy, kind of whatever. Where like in other sports,
they're drunk.
Like that's what I'm saying, like,
that crowd is real.
in
drunk.
other sports, you don't get
I'm
the
pretty
crowd.
sure-
I
like,
think that is actually that's what it is. You just need to be drunk.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guys playing darts there are drunk.
Right?
Like I think
Yeah.
at the end of that clip, they actually just both go and grab a pint and like start sipping.
right, it's a bar sport where like the call it the no one's gonna complain that it's too loud in the state. Like the players aren't complaining like shut the fuck up, right? Like they're not saying stop. It's kind of they feed off of the energy. And
Look at
That's very true.
look at like a like an NFL game. Like half that stadium is drunk. They've
Yeah.
been drinking. They've been, especially in Pittsburgh, they start tailgating at 6 a.m. for a 1 o'clock game.
and it's slower, right? Football's much slower than darts, right? Darts are just out here
Live,
throwing
live,
instant.
it's very, very slow.
Yeah.
yeah.
So the game that they're playing is cricket. The way it starts, I think they're playing 501.
Yeah.
So you start at 501, you count your way down to 0, and you have to like basically math it out so that you land exactly.
It's like
I made
I love that game. We
Lamana.
used to play it all the time.
Oh, do you remember the bet?
Yeah, I beat your ass.
You beat my ass. Okay, so
Did I
here,
not win?
He won.
Okay.
He did win. Here was the
Story
bet.
over.
Here was the bet. We had a dartboard in our very first house out here at Mesa Verde, and I got like reasonably good at cricket. Not that level good, but
not
like
even close.
Of
I
course
was
not
I was
good.
like decent at
Good
cricket.
for a bunch of idiots in a house in Vegas.
He was not good.
your game selection.
I was definitely good.
Okay,
It sounds
I
like he
am
beat
still
you.
good.
Brian was not good.
But he
I'll
beat
beat
you.
your ass now. Give me a
and I-
6-pack and
I laid him 27 games that I would beat him for a bet. I can't remember what we bet. It was like $100 or $1,000
Like
or something
basically,
like that.
you
I
needed to
spotted
win.
him 20. He had to win one game out of 27.
This is such an exaggeration.
No, it's not. He had to win
It
one
was
game out of
under
27.
10.
It was not under 10.
It might have been 5. It might have been 6 games.
27 games.
Maybe
okay?
9, maybe.
We played. We literally
12
played.
max.
We played like 2 or 3 games a day for like days.
You gave
right?
him time to regroup.
It wasn't
Yeah, it was his choice. It was his choice. He could like call me out to play anytime he wanted, right? So we play, and I won like I don't know, like 16 or 17 in a row. Like it was getting like, to look like I was a favorite. Then one night he goes into the vortex. He's
Drunk as hell.
blacked out, drunk,
Probably a little high.
very high, and he goes, "Let's do it."
Tortoise just gets absolutely stoned. It says, "Fuck it, we ball."
And he locks in, bro.
Lock in, baby.
I was Balmer peaking. That's what I was.
Oh my god, the
was
tortoise was locked in out here
Balmer
doing
peaking,
triples.
and I was just locked
So
right in.
a lot of
God.
you guys haven't seen Lamana in his finest form, but one of his
This is his finest form.
One of his moves, one of his like classic moves when he's really bomber peaking is he gets this smirk on his face and he sticks his tongue out like this, like, and like that's when you just know you're fucked.
Yeah, you're done.
So
It's
he's
all over.
he's like leaning in and squinting
How
with
I
his
didn't
tongue
fall
out. Like,
over, I don't know.
Did you murdered him in this game? I'm sure.
he had to hit like
Enough to win.
I think he had to hit like a double bullseye
That's
to
amazing.
win.
Double bullseye to win. He just locks in.
And he just fucking drills it like those guys on
Boom. Yep.
just blap, blap, blap.
Right there.
in his head, he's just going.
I was losing my mind.
Oh my
I couldn't
times.
believe that this happened to me.
Good time.
That's so great that like the only reason why he was allowed to even like call it make this bet at this hour is like you gave him such a spot. He's like, you know what, fuck it, one game.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. He feels like he still has 12 more games, whatever. He's already getting wrecked. Why not play blacked out drunk?
Right. Why not try a new strategy?
Beer muscles, baby.
Brian, you want to know why you won? You were due.
I was bussing.
You were
That-
due.
that is
For real,
true.
for real. I was due.
According to the sample that we allotted you,
The
due
hot,
theory
hand,
was
the hot hands theory with drunk Brian. You know, it sounds like you just have to have the shooters get drunk and then there they go.
You should have seen me on a pool table.
we were both atrocious at pool.
Nobody
Oh,
was
really?
good.
Yeah, Jace was actually our friend. Jace is actually better than us, but also very bad. Like, yeah. So
We should get a pool table. I would surprise you.
I don't want to play pool. I hate it.
Because you suck at it?
No, because I suck at it, number one, but also because I suck and want to play by the rules. And like Jay sucks and doesn't want to play by the rules. So he would just
Double
smash
tapping and
balls.
just, like,
He would just hit balls as hard as he could. And when they would go in, it'd be like, buckets, baby.
Wait. Why is that good if he's just cheating?
Well, because like nobody truly knows the rules of pool.
Yeah, you do. What do you mean?
Nah, they're kind of like,
We didn't.
you really don't. Because like
There's also unwritten rules. There's bush league kind of stuff.
right, like so, like
and-
when you're playing 8-ball, you're supposed to like get ball in hand when you scratch, but we always played it like behind a certain
dot,
marking on the
yeah.
table, a
Yeah.
certain dot on the table.
Yeah, it's ball in hand. If you
Right.
scratch, ball in hand.
Right, but like that's how professionals play. That's not how like if you go to a bar, you're most likely to just play behind the third dot.
If you put in a ball, you put it behind the dot. Yeah. So it's funny
But that's
because
not the same as ball in hand.
Sure, but you can kind of make the rules whatever you want them to be, as long like whatever you want to be, as long as they're agreed upon. Like when I went, so I went
Yeah,
to
so we
area-
would always
Yeah,
have to
go.
say no shit shots when we played with Jays.
as in
As in you had to call your pocket.
yeah,
Or at least call the ball that you were trying to fucking hit into a
Right.
pocket.
Well, in the
Right, like
sense,
if you
like-
just hit it like crazy and then like one ball just happened to ricochet and go in,
Yeah.
he was like, that counts.
Because like standard, like call it solid stripe bar pool, right? Like someone hits a ball in there that type, and then you can only hit balls of that type first, or else you scratch.
Yeah, correct. But
Right.
then that's the other thing that like we didn't know. It's like, so say you hit your ball in first and then your opponent's ball goes in also.
That's
like
fine.
now what happens?
You-
Right, yeah, it's like we allowed it to play, but nobody truly knew the rules.
Sure.
And we didn't have the internet. So we
Right.
couldn't look it up.
I really want the whole pod to go to this video game spot.
Area
that-
15.
That Andre knows. It has that boxing machine.
Yes.
From like
Oh, we can try that one too.
zeros to $9.99.
Yeah.
I would love to see what everybody can throw.
Over unders. We'll
Yeah.
wait till everyone's here and we'll do over.
I got a solid 150.
But like, I guess going
I
off
saw
of,
somebody kick it the other day. It was very impressive.
was it BSH?
No. It was a very short man. It was on the internet, but man, he just smashed it.
So like, I went to Area 15 actually a couple days ago with some friends, and we just played. Like you're talking about like rules that no one knows what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Ping
we
pong's
played-
another good example.
we
Like
played,
there are a
like-
lot of loose rules that people don't know.
It's like Brazilian pool, where if you scratch, you take the lowest number on the opposite side, and they just get that ball in the pocket.
What is this posture?
That sounds dumb.
I'm just sitting here. What do you mean? I'm
You're glowing. You're legitimately
That man
glowing
thigh.
right now.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. If we were gonna close the show, but yeah, but we just
Please close the show.
no. I said we were going
Please
to.
close your legs.
They are closed.
Relax. This is better than the other than it being the other
Continue your story.
It is better
Anyways,
than the other.
I was playing just like
Distracted. I'm sorry.
Tortoise has reached his 100-word allotment. He's malfunctioning.
he's bomber peaking right now. He's bomber. So we were playing this like Brazilian pool, and we're like, if you scratch, you only get to place. You don't get to move the ball if you scratch, but the other team gets a ball into a pocket, so it just gets removed.
Yeah.
But if the ball goes in pocket, you then put the ball in the center, or like not the straight center, but like
Where you break from.
where you break from.
Yeah.
And you can't be impeded by another ball. So like you can't get an advantage as the opponent player if you scratch on purpose just to make them like get interfered
Correct.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun. You know, I haven't played pool in a while, but
Yeah.
it's pretty busting though.
I want to get a ping pong table.
Why not pool?
I don't
Because
like
he's
pool.
really good at ping pong and he's terrible at pool.
Exactly.
That's the end. of the
That's pretty much it.
Why don't you
yeah.
just get better at pool then?
He's like, I
Because
want to
I'd
get
much
a ping-
rather get better at ping pong.
He's like, I want to get a ping pong table so I can just beat everybody all
how do
day
you not?
long.
How do we not already have one? It's like,
Because I can't figure out where to put it.
were-
I've put ping pong tables in the shopping cart to order at least 3 times.
I will
put
give it
in
to
that
Berkey.
office space.
He
fine.
he is really good at ping pong. We were in Park City last December, and Dan is also really good at ping pong.
Dan's better than me.
I was just cracking a beer, sitting there watching them play. It was that entertaining. I was like, I'm not
Dan's-
gonna play because I'll get killed. But I was just they had like this epic match
Yeah.
that lasted. I don't know. It seemed like 2
Dan's
hours.
significantly better than me, and I beat him like 9 times in a row because he may be better, but he's
gets in his
arrogant.
head. Yeah.
he's
He gets in
arrogant.
his head,
and he
yeah.
tries to take like low percentage shots
Yep.
that look good, and I just sit there and I
Yeah,
just
it's like
pepper
you
his
on-
backhand all
It's
day
like you
long.
on the pickleball court.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think, but Brian, what you should have done was get absolutely blasted and then try to play him.
I did.
They
Didn't work out.
Yeah, no. Ping pong's a different. We're talking real dexterity.
So
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so it sounds like after this podcast, we need to get a ping pong table, a pool table, and a dartboard.
I don't want a pool table.
Definitely
There's
a
definitely
dartboard.
nowhere to put a pool table in the house.
Dartboard is easy.
Dartboard we definitely need.
Yes.
That was a lot of
That would
fun,
be
and
fun.
it's something that I'm not particularly great at.
Honestly,
but I think I could get better at.
I think we could. I think that's how we settle disputes in the house. We just heads up darts.
Yeah, we could definitely transition that like office-y type area into a bit more of a game room.
Play space.
Yeah, the dartboard would be easy to hang.
Yeah.
I'd have to take down the whiteboards.
Ping pong table is fine.
No, get one of those like the ones you see in the bar, like those giant.
Oh yeah.
Electronic
the
It
actual
looks like
like,
electronic
machines.
video machine. Yeah.
Do you like?
And then charge people 50 cents a game.
I like the felt one. The felt one's nice. It does fuck up the wall if you miss though.
No, you don't get the metal darts, man.
This
is a home.
I
Yeah.
think that my mom.
I had one
got
of those in my
my
basement
My
when I was
mom
growing
got
up.
the metal darts one at one of the houses.
that'd be-
Yeah.
Guys,
There'd be so many little holes
Go ahead,
all
Guapo.
around.
Can I get an over under? I uploaded my video of me hitting this boxing machine. So $9.99 would be like Francis Ngannou. $0 to $9.99.
I would say 600.
That's low. I think like 775.
Fucking, you're insane. No way.
All right.
Under.
Okay.
Under. Done.
Baby. Go. Drop it, give me 20.
Jesus, it was
Yo.
the hoodie for sure.
Wait a minute. That means you're in like the 85th percentile of punching this bag.
It's a video game, man. Who cares? Give me 20
That's the
push-ups.
point.
Let's go. Yeah. Go for it, Landon.
Yeah.
Go for it right there.
Get in screen, man. Don't be fucking around.
Wait, Guapo got him. He got him.
Yeah, you can do incline on. You can do
Yes.
incline on the
What the hell was that?
1, 2. Wow.
3,
Wow.
4,
Keep your head down.
5.
Keep your head down.
Yeah, get that head down.
You're gonna hurt your neck. Yeah, this is bad form. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Ah!
Yeah.
Wow, 1 to grow on.
Nice.
Nice work, Landon.
Easy
Good job.
peasy.
Henry still owes me 50. He texted me this morning. He goes, "I owe you $400 and 50 push-ups from."
Listen,
from
I
Tahoe."
underestimated Guapo just to fucking flex.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
No, I
you have to
wasn't.
tell
I wanted
yourself.
to
No, let's get back to Guapo. That was very impressive.
It was.
Well,
That was
look,
busting.
you know what I was
Jesus.
thinking? Andre took me to this place, and the first thing we actually thought of was since Matt pitched, you could probably get close to 900.
I don't think.
I mean,
I don't think I have good punching technique, but I feel like I'm strong. So I don't know.
Strong like bull.
Yeah, I don't think I have very good technique. I actually remember hitting one of those when we were in Erie. They had them in the bar, but I don't remember if it was good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, who knows? Guapo's a good guy to have around.
Guapo,
Shit.
Andre.
We got
In case
Yeah.
shit goes down.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. You got those one on each side of you. You just go anywhere. It's like,
Go anyway.
yeah.
Their bodies are a
Bodyguards.
weapon.
Yeah, they are. Damn.
All right, let's get out of here. Before we go, don't forget that the newest lesson in Mid-Stakes Bible has dropped. If you guys want to check that out, head over to solveforwhy.io. I'll be covering multi-way pots. It's basically an introduction into a lot of the hypotheses that we have for multi-way. Also, we still have 2 seats available for February's Academy. That's February 2nd through the 5th. If you want to sign up for that, head over to academy.solveforwhy.io. That's a Poker Out Loud style academy. So there will be 9 attendees who will be playing 2 of the 4 days each time that they play. They'll be speaking their decisions out loud while coach is in the commentary booth kind of correcting their thought process in real time. The other 2 days, we will be dissecting theory from the ground up, helping you guys build a strategy that you can employ in your regular games. So again, if you want to check that out, it's academy.solveforwhy.io. We'll be back tomorrow at noon, our new time slot, hopefully for a while at least. Maybe start the Throwback Thursdays tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how much work I can get done today.
I threw him back today.
We did throw it back a little bit today. So if we don't start with Throwback Thursdays tomorrow, it will be next Thursday for sure. But maybe we'll discuss the 2013 WSOP tomorrow. Seems like a good one to kick off with. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Peace.